Hey guys, Thomas from Team Sakurasou here, coming at you guys with a Satellarknight deck profile for June 2023. I've been testing out this deck for I think 2-3 weeks at this point here with the new support, since the deck is a lot more complex than it was when it first came out. The new support makes this deck really great, and you can turn skip your opponent. That's not clickbait in the title. You literally go end phase and then to your draw phase. It's really great. So I will be having combos at the end showing you how to turn skip, as well as some other little combos that you could do. If you guys enjoy these types of videos, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. I will also be telling you guys a few other cards you can play, because there's a few different builds of this, but I decided to show you guys the core build, how I've perfected it, and I will suggest the other cards. It's one of my overall thoughts, and I'm not going to waste your guys' time. If you're buying any cards off TCG Player, please use my affiliate down in the description below. Helps out the channel to no additional cost to you. And we're almost at 4K subs, so yeah. So for the deck profile, we have 3 Satellarknight Denebs here. This is the Searcher. Basically, you on summon, special or normal, you just search a Satellarknight card. 2 Altair, this is the Reborn, but then you're locked into Satellarknights for attacks. Something you have to be very careful of, especially with the new support here, is I feel like a lot of the cards lock you into something, right? So you have to be careful on what you're locked into. Either it's like attacks with only Satellars, attacks with only XYZs, etc., etc. Unokai, this is the Foolish Burial. I've seen people only play one of this because of Kashtira, but I just thought, you know, it's better just go first and get your plays off. And if they have a Rise Hard or something else, etc., etc., it's better just to deal with it than just screw up your main build. 2 of these, just your Foolish Burial, all that. Then you have 1 Vega over here. This card is really good. It might be bumped up to 2. It's just so far I am playing just 1 copy. Basically on normal, you special another Satellarknight from your hand. You know, it would have been super amazing future proof if they added the word Constellar to this. But again, I guess post-Duelist Alliance format would have been different here. But it's a great card, but you really only need just 1 copy. That's the basic Satellars that we've all known and loved. Lirin over here. So Lirin is a really good card because when you normal summon a Constellar, you reveal this in your hand to special it. What makes this card good is it's a in-archetype chain block. So if you normal Deneb, for example, and let's say they have Ash, right? You normal and then you reveal Lirin. Deneb would be chain link 1, Lirin would be chain link 2, which is really good. Since they won't be able to Ash. Now, what they probably Ash the second effect, which is you can on summon actually add a Satellarknight spell. That is the issue I have with this Satellarknight spell. Not trap or spell. The big issue, if you're a player who knows Satellarknight tools, you cannot search this card with this card. And I really hate that, because if we had that, that would have been wonderful. I wouldn't have asked for anything else. But basically you add like Skybridge, all that, so it's a search, it's another body on board. Really good card overall. Absolutely a 3 of. Helps get you the 2 level force again to your first combo. You have 2 Altarian right over here. This card is, instead of specialing from hand, it specials from grave, right? So this is what you want, a Foolish Burial here. You can discard it if you need to. And when it is summoned, its effect is you get to pop cards on the field up to number of, I believe, light and dark XYZs on the field. Yeah, light and dark XYZ monsters you control, and there's no cap. So if you have like a light and a dark, you don't cap like L for every for like if you have a light or a dark, you get 3 pops, which is really good here. And it does not banish when it hits this effect. So every time this is in the grave, once per turn, and you summon any Tellarknight, it keeps coming up. You play 2 because it has such a good advantage. You don't want this banished. But if you draw, it's not the worst thing in the world either, I guess. I mean, I drew a Vega, the 1 of, and this card, and I was fine. 2 Sheraton. Now, you banish this off the new XYZ because this lets you search the next card, which is the Constellar Cadius, which you special summon this if you control a Constellar, which a new Satellarknight card, XYZ, counts as a Constellar. So this is never really a deck card. You special it, and then you can activate the effect to add a Constellar spell. Which is basically a Reborn you keep comboing off, which we will show that in a moment here. Really, really good card. Puts another body on board. Helps initiate the turn skip combo as well. Now, before I go further, there is a build with a Fossil Egg and a Renaud in the main, which makes Shuriken a 1-star combo card. It doesn't let you do the turn skip, mind you, but I've tested it, and while I don't know it by heart just yet, it's not a bad build. It's just an option out there. Basically, you won't have to do anything with extra either. It's just two, main deck slots. Now, before we get into the extra, the more of the main deck here, so no one's confused, you play 3 crossout, okay? The most important thing in Satellars going first is getting your plays off. You can play through a hand trap by far and put something on the board, but you want to be able to play through anything to turn skip and make sure you turn skip, because I've turn skipped through a hand trap before, but it's very hard to. Normally, if you get hand trapped, depending on what moment, you might be unfortunately unable to turn skip, and you just have to put, say, like 2 interrupts on the board, which is pretty not bad either. You can put Apolos, all that. Our targets here are Nibiru, Imperm, Veiler, Ash. We play 3 Droll. Now, the reason why we play 3 Droll is because this card is just really good this format. I've never had Droll and been upset that I've had it, because it's just, it stops decks from just playing more. Whenever Droll is a must-of, it usually means there's something wrong with the format, most likely. So, yeah, and you getting Drolled hurts as well, so there's that as well. We play the 1 Rhoda, self-explanatory. 2 talents here, basically, and the Call by Grave. So we have ways to combo through certain cards, like, hand traps, all that, as well as Satellarknight Skybridge. Now, this card, what this does, and this helps you play through hand traps as well. So you should have one way to play through hand traps, since that has 8 cards. The math, you have 5 cards, 1/5. You're able to play through 1 hand trap, most likely. This card lets you target a Satellarknight monster. You special summon one with a different name, and then you shuffle that card back in the deck. Helps you play through the hand trap, and does not shuffle for cost. So if they negate this somehow, you don't shuffle back the monster for no reason. It's really good. It helps initiate combos, and it helps you dodge certain hand traps, like I said before. And it helps hands as well. It's searchable, so I only do 2. Also, Call by Grave is a cross-out target as well. You can argue talents as well. So yeah, really, really, you kind of have, it's a lot of synergy with this build here. Then you have 3 Constellar Tellarknight here. Now, this card is amazing in my opinion. I understand some builds want to play 2. I play 3 because it's not really cloggy, and you can just abuse it the next turn here. What this card lets you do is you special summon a Tellarknight from your hand or grave, right, when it's activated. You think it's just a reborn that's searchable, cool. Or you can overlay for 1 rank higher. Well, not 1 rank higher, lower, a different rank, right? Constellar or Tellarknight. The way you actually, what's really good about this is you could put a Pleiades on board with one of your dead Constellars, or a Diamond. But most importantly, if your new guy, which is right over here, has 5 materials, which is not difficult to do, right? You overlay for M7, that's 6 materials, and then you activate the spell effect, and you overlay for M7, which effect is, hey, you get to skip your opponent's next turn. It lets you get into this. So this card is extremely important here. If they somehow negate this for the turn skip, you're really in hot water. But yeah, really good card overall here. You search it with the Constellar Cadius. You could draw it sometimes, all that. What I am testing right now is 1 Constellar Belt here. Now this card says the effects of light monsters cannot be negated. This is a searchable card as well, so if I open up, say, the spell, I can activate this, which is really good. And this is just the activation anywhere, so grave, whatever. What's really cool about this card is that if your opponent has interrupts, or they have a board that has like multiple monster negates, like Apollos or whatever, you get this card out and they're not doing anything, right? Your plays are going to go off without sound. Now, granted, if they have a Nibiru, a Droll, right, something that really affects the player / the board, not negates it, it's unfortunate. This is a searchable card, but I've opened it up, and I've activated it, and I've had people, when I did the turn skip, they tell me either while siding or after game 3, hey, I did have Ash and you had the belt. So it's kind of like a cross-out designator. You get a lot of value out of this, but I've had hands where they're not great and I've had belt and I'm just like, wow, that could have been another card, sure, but I like testing this card out quite a bit here. Then we also have Twinkle here. Twinkle adjusts the levels of your Constellar, your Constellar, what's it called? Sharingan? That's what I want to call it. Constellar, where is he here? Sheraton. I don't know why I wanted to call him Sharingan. And then you could get it back from the grave for basically free, just to keep getting effects off, all that. It just helps make it a level 4 so you can overlay and go into other crazy stuff. If you have Sheraton and the other Constellar card and you are playing this in the main in general, it basically lets you pop off as well, because I've had that in the grave. So it will make certain hands with Sheraton playable, as well as if you want to play the Renaud and the Fossil Dig, it is a absolute must-have. This card is your brick. I would say this is the one brick you play out of your 40 cards. If you draw it, you're out of luck. If you draw it with the level 4, though, it's really funny. Then you play 3 Alpha. This card's great because you negate a spell, trap, or monster effect. You tribute the Satellar, you negate and destroy it, and then you draw a card, right? So you're not really negging, which is absolutely really great. Well, you send a face up, I should say. I always think it's tribute for some reason. This card, if you draw it if you're going first, it's great. If you're going second, this is kind of a dead card in a way. But it's really nice because you could set it, let your plays go off if you can get another turn. Lets you have card advantage as well. I still would play because it's an Omni-Negate, but the deck would have been so good if Konami understood they weren't going to break Satellarknights. I mean, granted, they did with a turn skip, but that's not the new support's fault. That's just an M7 issue because they printed skip your opponent's turn on a card and just expect it to be Gucci in 2015. But Alpha just should have been searchable. Okay, y'all didn't see that. That's the biggest problem with the new support. Next, we have, for the extra deck, 2 Satellarknight Trivers. It's summoned, you bounce. It's Black Rose, but for bouncing, right? Bounces everything on the field by itself. And then you could discard a card or not discard a card. You could detach, discard a random card in your opponent's hand, which could unfortunately be a good effect for them. So you gotta be careful. You could special summon a Satellarknight from the deck if this hits the grave with a XYZ material, which is nice because if they do something where this hits the grave, you get a reborn. So, or not reborn, but a special from deck. You special summon a card that you like, say Alter, to special summon something from grave, get another effect. That's really good. Then you have Deltros here. This is a one-of. You can pop your own cards for effects, including itself, which is really, really nice. And there are combos with that, especially if you play the Fossil Dig and Renaud build, which next time I profile this deck, if you guys are interested, this gets a lot of likes. I'll probably do that and show off that combo. It's nice. I mean, you get to also overlay into it if you need to. With the spell, pop a card. Not a bad card overall. You just play one of. You really never need 2. I've seen builds with 2. I've never needed it. Then you have the new Satellarknight here. What's great about this card is when it is summoned, you can activate the effect to add 1 Constellar and 1 Satellarknight card from your grave to your hand. So I've added stuff like Alpha, but with the combo, you're adding something like Skybridge, because when you skip your opponent's turn, you're gonna have a Skybridge and a Constellar card in your hand. So you're gonna be able to do big damage, regardless if you can OTK or not, on your next turn. aka the second turn of the game, even though you went first. And then you detach and banish a Constellar / Satellarknight card from your deck. It gets this effect. Really good. You put him with 5 materials to turn skip. You also you can shuffle him back. Yada yada. Then you play Ball Tear. Ball Tear makes everything on the field dark. That is a very important thing here. And you can discard a card to basically overlay into your Triver, which is really nice. So if you're short a card on the field and you can't put it on board, this card lets you play through it. You also have the Constellar Diamond over here, which you can detach, negate a dark effect, and destroy it, which is really good. Neither player can send cards from the deck to the graveyard, which is really good. And any card that returns from the graveyard to the hand is banished instead. So this is a walking floodgate. If you have this guy on the field and this guy, you got basically two odd floodgates that can really kill a deck. Like, depending on what deck you build, Diamond might just be the play just because he kills it. And then this makes all darks. So next turn you can like overlay into it, bounce it to like a Trigger if you want to, bounce it, you know, you get the point here. Definitely the ratios I would play by far. Play the 1 M7. This, you detach 7 materials from this card. You turn skip your opponent. Then you play the Constellar Pleiades and the M7. Now the M7 is just to overlay for the turn skip, so you have an extra material. You don't really use its effect. The Pleiades is really good though, because basically any level 4 or you can't turn skip whatever, you put this on the board, you bounce, and then it's just really good. Especially because you can put this with multiple materials, all that, bounce your cards. Then you have an Exciton and Zeus. Zeus is self-explanatory, pop everything. Exciton is basically a pop everything as well, or it's actually a send, I believe. Or no, it's a destroy still. And it is a quick effect, so you can activate on your opponent's turn, all that. Instead of playing double Zeus, which I've seen a build do that, and I'm like, they don't know this is a card. This is basically a level 4, a rank 4 Zeus in a way, so yeah. Then you play the Isolde just for searching. You would play this with the, if you're playing Renaud with the Fossil D combo, it is mandatory. And Apollousa, I've gotten 4 negate Apollousa before easily. It's just a really good thing that can go into, because you could put it like a Pleiades and an Apollousa. And then if you have Alpha, maybe you could put Stellarknight monster on the field. So you have a Spell Trap negate, a bounce, and like 3-4 negates, depending on what you want to do, which is really good here. It's absolutely good. And again, it depends on what your board has on all of that. So I will see you guys in a second here to tell you guys the turn skip combo. So this is going to be one way to turn skip your opponent. All you need is these 2 cards, or any way to get to these 2 cards, like a Rhoda, etc. But there are multiple ways of doing this combo as well. Like I've had Altair, Vega, and then Lyran or something like that. So I'm just showing you guys one way to do this. And just remember, while this deck, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's extremely difficult. It's going to take some practice to learn. So we're going to normal summon Deneb, and we're going to reveal Lyran. So Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. Now preferably you have a crossout just in case anything happens, but Deneb is going to search your Altair, and then after the Chainlink's resolve, Lyran on the field will activate its effect, and you will be getting Skybridge right over here. So you have 5 cards still in your hand, keeping great card advantage. You are going to overlay into the Satellarknight Constellar Cadius here. Now, remember, he has an effect on summon. You're not activating that. You have nothing engraved. So you're going to detach to activate his effect, and you're going to banish the Sheraton right over here. That it becomes that effect, which is when it's normal summon, you can add a Constellar monster from your deck to your hand, and you will be adding the Constellar Cadius. Now this card, you're able to special summon it because you have a Constellar on the field. This is a Satellarknight and a Constellar. They made it really, really nice. So you special this, and its effect is not on summon. You just activate it once per turn. You are going to activate its effect, and you're going to be adding the Reborn right over here. So now you have 6 cards in your hand, 3 Mysterious, 3 of what we searched right here. It's a little hard to see, I understand, but and now what you're going to do is you're going to actually activate your Skybridge right over here. Skybridge is going to shuffle back this into the extract, which is very nice. Material's going to go to grave here, and you are going to special summon your Unukai. Unukai effect is to foolish. You're going to be foolishing your Reborn right here. Boom. Then you're going to be activating your Constellarknight, Tellarknight, and you're going to be special summoning from your hand, right? You will special summon Altair. Now, you will have Chainlink 1, Altair, Chainlink 2, Chainlink 1, Altair, Chainlink 2, you could do Altarian. Basically, you're going to special this, and it's preferable you summon Deneb here. I'm going to show you guys why. Now, you have 5 cards on the field, right? So, you can overlay all 5 of these cards into your Tellarknight Cadius. Now, on summon, he's going to activate his effect. You can add a Tellarknight card from your grave to your hand. You can add, say, Bridge, right? add learn. Depends again on what your hand is looking like, right? You're not going to activate his effect anymore. Now you're going to overlay into M7. Now remember, you're not overlaying to M7 using this guy's effect. M7 lets you overlay him in front of any Constellar monster, right? And he is a Constellar monster, so you're going to overlay. M7 currently has 6 materials. Then you're going to activate this effect, and you're going to put Satellarknight, Ptolemaeus on the field. Now you have 7 materials because you had 6 with the M7, and now that you're overlaying, M7 becomes the 7th material. Now you're going to activate the effect, you skip your opponent's entire turn. Boom. And your graveyard is loaded, which is really nice here. And then you basically, depends on what you have. If you have a Nova, you can set that, all that. But you have the 3, again, still you have the 3 mysterious cards, and you have a bridge to pop off with. You will be having a draw on the next turn, and you can overlay into Pleiades when it's your turn again. You draw all that. You draw, like, say, a mysterious card. You draw, like, something good, like another Satellarknight monster. Usually it's done in the bag. You can actually overlay as well into, where is he now? A Pleiades as well, just if you need to attack over, which is really good. And then you have the return. And remember, if you overlay into this, you can return your own card. So you can return this card, activate special, something from your grave, get that effect, all that, if you want to detach from this, and then get big damage. It's really, really nice here. Because most likely you're going to be able to OTK on the next turn, but there are times where you're not able to, so you just do big damage and put some more interrupts. Your opponent didn't even draw. Remember, it skips our draw phase. I've had someone say, oh, it doesn't skip draw phase. So I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? That is one way to get it here. Other hands might make you go into just 2 XYZs, and you end up just going to Diamond and Voltaire. So you have a interrupt, you can have a Pleiades, Nova, a bunch of stuff like that, floodgates. For the side deck here, I actually noticed I did not go over the side deck. The side deck right over here is pretty simple. You have the 1 talents here. This is just if I need the 3rd here. We're going to start zooming in here. Hopefully you guys are able to see it decently well. 3 droplet, just in case. 2 cyclone and a duster. I just don't have the duster. The 2 nib. 3 Dark Ruler. Again, you want to be able to play going second. And then for the rest of the cards, because it's not a complete side deck, I play more hand traps like Impermash, etc., etc. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button. Let me know if you guys want to see the Renaud build, because I would be adjusting the main deck decently enough for that. And I will just get straight to the combos most likely. So do that. Subscribe if you're not already. If you buy any cards off TCG Play, please use my link down in the description below. Helps out the channel to know just cost you. I have my socials down in the description as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.